I would like to thank all the people for coming, and we appreciate the people that took the time to recognize those people that are so special. All that have contributed to making a better world and a better Brockton and a nicer place to live for all of us. Thank you very much, and we'd like to also thank the Mayor's office for letting the commission go forward and recognize these women. Next, we're going to have Yara do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good morning and welcome. Can everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem? And can we all face the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
Thank you, Yara. Now I'd like to invite up Reverend Frank Clarity.
If you clap before I begin, I probably should keep my mouth shut. Let's join in prayer. Oh God, today we give thanks and praise for all the women in our lives who gave us shelter, who nourished and nurtured us. You gave us the gift of one woman who created within herself a space and a home where you worked to create and form us as human persons. And then there were all the other women in our lives, our sisters, our aunts, our grandmothers, our daughters, our nieces, wives, and just good, honest women friends that are also your gift to us. Today we honor 7 women from our community who, by their exceptional community service, leadership, and fidelity to those at home, have stood out and have become models for us all. We thank you for the gift of your action and your grace in their lives. We thank you for the gift they are to the community of Brockton. And finally, we give you thanks for the gift of this food on our table, the gift of community, and all your gifts. And we pray this in your holy name. Amen.
But just briefly, as I recognize that the individual qualities and characteristics of these award winners have done much for the betterment of Brockton. They have, in their each own individual way, brought their talents and shared their gifts for the improvement of our city, of our neighborhoods, and of the quality of life for the families that we all make up here in the city of Brockton. As I look down the list, I see that they represent some of the finest families here in Brockton. Families that have left their own imprint and their own mark on the glory that is Brockton and the great proud title that we have, the City of Champions. Each one of these award winners are a champion in their own right. I have to make special note of my colleague, Representative Geraldine Creed, who has done so much for the political scene in Brockton and serving the needs of the city on Beacon Hill. I hope that she will be able to continue to do so for many years. We wish her good fortune and we win in good health to Geraldine and to all the other fine ladies that you're honoring here today. Good luck, God bless, and enjoy the morning.
Thank you so much for inviting me here to speak tonight. I personally want to thank, this morning, I personally want to thank Maybelline Bennett and the Women's Commission for inviting me here. It's truly an honor to be amongst the company who are honoring such wonderful women who have made a difference in the community. As you've just heard, my husband is the new manager for the Brockton Rox, and what's a little ironic about that is that throughout my life, I've never been actually a huge sports fan. I'd rather curl up with a good book or spend some time with family and friends. And as a young girl, when you imagine settling down, years from then, I always thought that I'd live in one small little town, kind of similar to where I grew up, have kids, and the kids would start elementary school and stay in the same school all the way up until they graduate high school. However, I somehow fell in love with a mega baseball-loving nomad who has moved us around the country more times than I can actually count now. To give you a little bit about our background, I grew up in Westchester County, New York, and Chris and I had actually went to rival high schools. We knew each other in high school, but didn't actually meet up again until afterward. He took a separate path in college and played professional baseball afterwards. I had gone to college and studied English and received my bachelor's degree in English. It is afterward where Chris and I had met at a local establishment and met up again, and from then on we dated and got married. I knew that I always wanted to do something that would use my English background, but I come from a family of women who do try to make a difference in the community, and I wanted to figure out a way that I could somehow possibly touch a life here and there. So I thought about teaching, and I went to graduate school and received my master's degree in teaching English. I spent 7 years teaching in Westchester County, New York. I wanted to instill that love of learning through my students, help them to see what the human condition is and how literature helps to reveal that. I also wanted to focus on the girls in my classroom. I did a thesis paper in graduate school on how very often as young female adolescents mature through middle school and high school, they tend to silence themselves in the classroom. And I certainly didn't want that to happen in my classroom. I love to hear from all my students, whether male or female, and I wanted to make sure that all voices could be heard because it is so important. One of the ways that I tried to do that was to tie in literature that had an even balance of both female and male protagonists. And I also wanted to make sure that our literature had themes which could relate to both males and females and could transcend the gender difference. So some of the themes that we focused on were, of course, self-discovery, embracing diversity, enduring hardships, and, of course, making a difference in life, whether it is big or small. In the middle of my teaching career, Chris and I were blessed to have a daughter of our own, Emma, and then towards the end of my teaching career, which I'll explain in a moment, we had a second daughter who we named Kate. And it was at that time that my husband, Chris, had received he was actually asked if he could manage a team out in Missouri. So we decided what better way to stick together than to move out to Missouri, because in the past we kind of traveled all over the place, where I would bring, when we just had Emma, I would bring her to Maine. Chris was also on a travel team. We've been to Missouri, to Atlantic City, so we were all over the place. So we decided that finally, once we had our second child, I would take some time off from teaching, stay at home with the girls, help to raise 2 young girls into strong, confident women who care about other people. And what better way to do that than to stick together as a family and to have us both spend time with them. We always joke that there is definitely an estrogen overload with the male baseball player in the house and these 3 girls, but we actually have our 5-year-old and our 2-year-old working out in the basement with the little bats and the batting cages that Chris has set up in there. So we're so happy that we have these 2 little girls that we can help mold into such strong women that, and if they could be anything like the women who we are honoring here today, then we would be very, very fortunate. We also want to teach our children that money and your career, it doesn't define you at all. It's actually a love of themselves and compassion and willingness to help and care for other people in the world that helps to create who you are. Now that we're in Brockton, we're very, very excited to be here. We want to embrace this community as much as we possibly can. One of our causes that we're so passionate about is autism and autism fundraising and autism awareness. In the past, we have with several of Chris's former teams that he's worked for and managed for, we've done a Strikeout Autism Night, which we are continuing, which we are actually very proud to do in Brockton this season. It's actually going to take place on July 8th, where we are going to help raise money and awareness for all the different autism charities that are around this area. So in the future now, what we're hoping to do is just stick together as a family. Hopefully my husband will lead Brockton in as many wins as he can so he can keep his job here and we can be here for a while. And in baseball, you're actually judged by wins and losses. In the real world, however, it's important to be true to yourself and kind and giving towards others. One of my favorite quotes that I actually even had my students analyze is from Margaret Mead, and she once said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." Thank you so much for welcoming me here tonight, and I want to congratulate everybody who's receiving these awards. Thank you.
We're going to start the festivities with Leah. She's going to have a poem, and then from there, Nancy Welkovich will have the nominators speak, and then the people that are nominated receive their awards. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to read a poem called Being a Volunteer, a Noble Profession. I was 1,000 points of lights, long before volunteerism lighted up the sky and had an official name. I had my lights short-circuited, burned at both ends, and occasionally punched out. I hang in there because generally volunteerism is dazing galaxy of gems that streak across the sky and illuminate the world when it falters and cannot find its way. I was thinking the other day that Americans are intrigued by royalty. Americans have never felt the need for hierarchy, who live in castles and get paid for waving and going to funerals. But I would like to propose a royal family for this country who would have no political power but would symbolize what we are and all are about and set the tone for our nation, the royal family of volunteers. You cannot be born in this royal family. You must earn your way through the ranks. Congress will not appropriate a salary for your efforts. You won't have your own principality, especially if you volunteer your medical service to travel down the Amazon. The peaks of royalty, which usually add up to yachts, box seats, parades, and state dinners, may translate into long hours, tired sandwiches, cost, rejection, cold coffee, and screaming kids. Royalty as a rule is recognizable. The royal family of volunteers are nameless, faceless, and forgettable. They are often taken for granted, and often a fraction of them are recognized for their talents. So how do you know your royalty? It's the crown of jewels that give you away, the sparkling tiara of smiles you have given and the tears you have shared, and the rich legacy of caring. Thank you guys all for caring.
Thank you, Leah. And now I'd like to invite our mayor, James Harrington, up to welcome everybody and have a few words.
Morning, everyone. You know, I really haven't been in this job that long, but I'm looking here and I'm saying, wait a minute. Some of the people that used to be on my youth committee are now on the Women's Issues Commission. How did that happen? But we're really proud of the job that the Women's Commission does here in the city. And, you know, as a good father and a brother and a husband, I know enough when they tell me what they want to do that I just say yes. So I've learned that over the years. My mother taught me well. I'd like to just say a couple of words. First of all, welcome to everyone, and what a great turnout and what a great honor to be here and be part of this program each year. I was looking at the back of the program of all of the past winners, and each year I'm amazed that they can come up with 5 or 6 more people who have done women who have done outstanding things in our city. And when I look at today's list, it's more people that I've had the opportunity to deal with on a basis. And I was looking at the list, and probably at least half of the list have yelled at me at one time. So I have the total respect for them, so I want them to know that I realize that. So I want to congratulate the winners, congratulate their families, because I know when these people are taking the time to go out and do all the great things for our community they do, that they're taking time away from their family, and we have to always appreciate the sacrifices that the families make. So I want to, again, congratulate them and tell everybody have a great day, enjoy the weather. There's no snow predicted for today, and so we'll be fine. So have a great day, and thank you very much.
So we're going to do this, not make her do that? Okay, good enough. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to invite up here Laura Scott and Celine Hunt. Who's Tara? Huh?
To introduce the first recipient.
Okay. Thank you. They're going to introduce our first recipient.
I'll bring her with us.
Okay.
Good morning. My name is Lauren Scott. I work for the Old Colony YMCA as the Assistant Director of the Brockton Juvenile Resource Center. And this is
Celine Hunt. I'm a clinician at the Brockton Juvenile Resource Center.
We're very excited to be here today to honor our supervisor, mentor, but most importantly, our friend.
Tara Hanavan, who's standing to my left, has been a resident of Brockton for over 12 years. In that time, she has been a very active and involved member of the community. She has worked at Brockton High School, BAMSI, and for the past 10 years has been an integral member of the social service sector of the Old Colony YMCA. In addition to her professional endeavors in social service advocacy, she has also established her family roots in the city. Tara and her husband have 3 beautiful children, 2 of whom are students at the Davis School, and all of whom are here today. Her youngest child was diagnosed with PKU shortly after his birth. PKU is a genetic disorder that impedes the body's ability to process a common amino acid that, when left untreated, can lead to severe mental retardation. In learning about and coping with her son's diagnosis, Tara has become a champion of benefits for PKU children and their families, and has expanded awareness of this disorder in the community.
Tara currently holds the position as the director of the Brockton Juvenile Resource Center. The Brockton Juvenile Resource Center is a collaborative effort between the Massachusetts Office of Community Corrections and the Old Colony YMCA to provide intensive day treatment services to adolescent males that are on probation. In her role as the program director, she was intimately involved in the development and startup of the program. Since the opening of the Brockton Juvenile Resource Center, the program has quickly gained a reputation for being a statewide model for juvenile justice. This is due in large part to Tara's knowledge, leadership, and commitment to the potential of each participant that enters our program.
Tara is a diligent and tireless leader. She is strong and compassionate, always helping to ease the program participants and their families in dealing with court-imposed sanctions and other stressful factors in their lives. Despite her amicable and empathic nature, Tara holds each staff member and participant accountable for their choices and actions. Tara takes her motivation and commitment from the BJRC to her work as a troop leader for the Girl Scouts of America in Brockton, which she does very seriously. She is always coming up with creative and inventive service learning ideas and activities, from merit projects to cookie campaigns to Walking the Relay for Life, a cancer awareness and research fundraiser. Tara enjoys taking on these new and exciting challenges and greets each new opportunity with genuine care and conscientiousness. In addition to all of the work that Tara does in the Brockton community, she made the decision to change patterns in her life that had the potential to impede her passion for life. In October 2007, Tara underwent a gastric bypass surgery and spent the duration of 2008 physically improving her lifestyle in order to lead by example. She has since become an avid long-distance runner, which can be a very lonely life, and has participated in several local road races that serve as fundraisers for community agencies. Just as she has developed her own physical endurance, she has encouraged the people around her, ourselves included, to move from being couch potatoes to being active participants in their own health.
Whether it's coping with state systems, adolescent behaviors, civic engagement with young girls, or treacherous running paths, Tara is there ready to run as many miles as it takes to get the job done. She truly exemplifies the spirit of the Brockton Woman of the Year through her commitment to positive growth and changes in the troubled young men she works with, the positive development of young females, the Brockton community, and herself. She is not only an inspiration to every person she meets, she truly encourages and guides them to the right path to achieving their goals. It is with great pride and gratitude for our dear friend that we honor her as one of Brockton Women of the Year. We love you, Tara.
Being clinically trained and 100% Polish and female, I guess it just wouldn't be right if I didn't speak. Just in keeping it very short, because there are so many other people that are truly being, deserving of the same honor. I am only as strong and motivated as the people that I surround myself with. And the pool of people that I have chosen to put in my life and in my family obviously give me a lot of love and support so that I can turn around and give it back out to a lot of people around me. So thank you for all of those. You know who you are, my family, friends, and definitely a lot of colleagues and coworkers and mentors that I have met over the years in Girl Scouts and life and at the Y. So it's definitely been a fun journey, and hopefully will be one that will continue for a good many years. Thank you.
Mia Harrington will present the citations, and
No, stay right there for a minute, yeah. Please.
And Ray, sorry, thanks.
How are you? Oh, I don't know. You want to say hi to the mayor? No. I've gotten a lot of that the last few days. We actually have a citation for each of the winners, but I'll read Tara's, and then the rest of them, in the matter of time, we'll just pass them out if that's okay. But be it known that the Mayor of Brockton hereby extends its congratulations to Tara Canavan in recognition of being selected as a recipient of the 2009 Woman of the Year Award offered by the Mayor's Commission on Women's Issues. The commitment and enthusiasm you have demonstrated towards educating the public about the health effects, I don't know if I can say it, phenylketonuria. And, oh, wait a minute, the next line here, PKU, will always be appreciated and remembered. And please be it further known that the Mayor of Brockton offers his best wishes and continued happiness and success. This being signed by the Mayor on this, the 28th day of March, 2009. Thank you.
You have the, all righty. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm State Representative Christine Canavan from Brockton, proud representative of West Bridgewater, Brockton, and Easton, and I have a citation from the state, the House of Representatives, for Tara Sabula Canavan, and I'd like to read this. James, you want Nana to pick you up? Yeah, let's give Mummy this. All righty. It says, "Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Tara Sabula Canavan." Say Mama. 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 In recognition of being honored as one of Brockton's 2009 Women of the Year. Your longstanding commitment to nurturing positive change in our great city, and your tireless advocacy on behalf of your son James and all of those with PKU. The entire membership of the House extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. And it's signed by Michael. He plays this flick game. That's what he's doing. He's flicking. It's signed by, that's called flicking. State Representative Geraldine Creedon, State Representative Michael Brady, and it is signed also by the Speaker of the House, Robert DeLeo, and myself, Representative Christine Canavan, better known as Nana. Okay, that's enough flicking. And would like to give this to Tara for all that she does. But I want to mention one quick thing. She not only is involved in Girl Scouts, she actually got the small program started in Brockton, and if it wasn't for her, there wouldn't be those troops. So congratulations, Tara. I'm so proud of you. Want to flick one more time?
Okay. Thank you. I'd like to invite Representative Mike Brady up to announce our next winner.
Thank you. You know, the first time when I was asked to present this nomination for our good friend Jerry Creedon, I was thinking she should get the Patience of Job Award for dealing with all the Creedon friends, the boys, and myself after we go to a BC game, or we have a little political debate at the local social hall. But Jerry's not only a good friend to us, and she's been a wonderful wife to our good friend Rob Creedon, and a wonderful mother to her beautiful children. Many people know Jerry Creedon through a public service career. First as a city councilor in Brockton, and I remember watching her as she presided over the city council, and now as our state representative from the 11th Plymouth District, serving Brockton and the town of Easton. Jerry has volunteered to make her community a better place since she married Bob Creedon and moved to the city of Brockton. Jerry Creedon has a long history of community service. In addition to her legislative duties, Jerry has served as a volunteer teacher's aide at the children's schools, a member of the board of directors at the Parents Association at Cardinal Spellman High School, a Jimmy Fund volunteer, a member of the board of directors for the Brockton Art Fuller Museum, and she's also been very active in the Old Colony United Way, and a delegate to the Democratic State Convention, first night volunteer, a management board member of the Old Colony YMCA Youth Division Committee, a two-term trustee at Massasoit Community College, where she was elected chair of the board, and currently Jerry is a board member of the Charity Guild, Hospice of Greater Brockton, where she's done a yeoman's work of volunteerism. Jerry has been the recipient of many awards, including the 2005 honoree for the Hearts and Hands for Hope Award, presented by Brockton Family and Community Resources. She also received the MAGI, Massachusetts Association of Gifted Education Public Service Award, and an award from Residents Against Trash Transfer Station to the protection and quality of life and the environment for our citizens of Brockton. Jerry recently received the MACC's 2007 Environmental Service Award for Legislator of the Year. Jerry Creedon has been a board member of the Charity Guild for over 20 years. It was her initiative that started the Mother's Day Project that has provided Mother's Day gifts to over 500 school children. Some act of kindness on community benefit earns these children gifts to give someone significant in their lives for Mother's Day. This has been overwhelming success with the students. Jerry Creedon is truly someone who constantly strives to improve her community. And as I mentioned, she's married to our good friend Rob Creedon and has two beautiful children, Jennifer and Rob. And not only has she been a good legislator, she's been a good friend and mentor to myself, especially as a new state rep coming into the State House. When I ever needed help or advice or even ideas for our community, she's been there always to help, as well as her staff, which has been a great resource to me and my legislative colleagues. And she's been a good friend to us in the community, and I want to welcome our good friend, Jerry Creedon.
Okay. Well, thank you. And like our guest speaker, I did go through, when I was in grammar school, my quiet years, but anyone who knows me now knows those are over. When I came from Springfield, Mass. To Brockton, one of the ways to get involved in your community is to get out there and volunteer. So I have had a rich history of volunteerism, and therefore I have a rich history of family and friends and working with the community. And I just want to thank everybody wave here today who's here from the Charity Guild, several of whom have been past recipients of this honor. And so I want to thank the people that nominated me. It truly is nice to be recognized by your community. I have always tried very hard to make my community a better place, and I shall continue to do so. Thank you. And I also want to thank Rep. Christine Canavan, who was there when I came into the State House. So now we will be working with Michael Brady, and it's just been a lot of fun. She's a very bright lady, and we serve you well in there, we hope.
One very important thing was forgotten in the introduction of Jerry, and that is that she is a grandma, and Emily adores her. We have here a citation from the House, which Jerry is well aware of, but we didn't allow her to sign on to this one. This says it also, be it hereby known to all, the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to State Representative Geraldine M. Creedon in recognition of, and I'm going to repeat it again because I think every woman here, for what they are being honored for, is very important and deserves mention more than once. She is being honored, my good friend and colleague, for being one of Brockton's 2009 Women of the Year, from working to empower Brockton's youth through your tireless volunteerism, your long-standing devotion to the Charity Guild, to your dedicated services as a city councilor, and now as the state representative of the 11th Plymouth District, among many other things. We're proud to call you our friend and colleague and look forward to continuing our great partnership with you for many years to come. And I must tell you, Jerry and I made a very good team, and we can tag team any legislator in there and hound them until they decide that our idea is the best idea. Right, Jerry? We have at times been asked to step away from the podium because we can be heard on the microphone. So, congratulations, Jerry. Congratulations, and you make Emily proud.
Thanks.
I just want to add my congratulations to Jerry, and I just want to tell you, Jerry, that in my many years on the city council, I have been ruled out of order by many of the city council presidents, but never with the class that you did it with, so I want to thank you for that.
I just want to add one last thing also. When you're dealing with some elected officials, of course not from Brockton, but elsewhere in the community, Jerry Creedon, when some of the politicians don't have any sense at all, Jerry adds a little bit of common sense to legislators, so I want to thank her for that. And I also want to thank all the other recipients, past and present, because you're well deserving, and you deserve a lot of credit as well. Thank you.
I'd like to invite up Pat Foley to announce our next awardee.
I I asked how much time I had, and somebody said, oh, don't worry, so I'm not going to worry. I have known this next recipient, and please forgive me if I get weepy, because we go back a long, long way. Carol Hancock and I started first grade together at the old Keith School, which was down on the corner of Trabue Street and, whoops, am I all right?
I'm just going to lower you.
Okay. Trabue Street and Warren Avenue. The Keith School now, for those of you who may be new to the city, is the part of the old Brockton High. Carol and I went from the Keith School to the Goddard Junior High and on to Brockton High for our 10th, 11th, and 12th grades. There's rarely been a significant event in my life or in Carol's that we haven't shared in one way or another. So I guess the word I'm looking for is blessed to be here today to speak about her. Carol and I even shared a driver's ed class in high school. She was the very best driver in our car. I mean, when Mr. Stevenson said to me, are you ready to take it? Ah, sure. Took the test, passed the test. So Carol, serious person that she said, oh God, I don't know. Never took a driver's ed test, never got her license until she was 67 years of age. There you go. When many of us are thinking of packing it in, up she goes. Because she had to, because her husband was ill, and she has this horrific fear of burdening her children with anything. So she got her license and she puts around the city, so everyone please be careful. Carol married right out of high school. We graduated in June. She married David, met David at a party. I remember being there at his going away party, I think, for the service, and married him in December of 1957. I was in her wedding. They started to raise a family and had 9 children. Carol was, if not content, because what were women to do? We did pretty much what we were kind of expected to do. And she remained at home. Anytime anybody wanted to go visit, catch up on anything, we went to Carol's house. Because where's she going to be? She was always going to be home. Didn't have her license. And it was wonderful. It kept us close. It kept, our kids kind of knew one another. And her life went along pretty much that way. I had Carol and my other dear friend Eileen Hancock Cesarini for lunch a few weeks ago after I had some surgery done. And Carol comes in the door waving this letter frantically. Look at what my son did. Look, this is a letter from the Women's Commission. What have I ever done for Brockton? I'm so upset with him, carrying on, because she was awarded a Woman of the Year award. And I thought to myself, oh my God. Carol and David had a philosophy, although not spoken, but certainly lived, that you don't give up on your hometown. Brockton went through some very hard times. Lots of people left the city. People like Carol and David stayed. They raised their kids here. They didn't expect anyone else to do that job for them. David was involved in so many activities from school committee and football, and I think Martin David Hancock's history to the city is pretty well known. Meanwhile, he's got a wife at home, and it brings to my mind the words of, I think it was Franklin Roosevelt, who said, they also serve who only stand and wait. You know, people can't do those things outside for the community with a family the size of theirs without somebody at home seeing that everything went well. All of that changed a bit in 1975. Carol had they had a beautiful son, Paul Gregory Hancock. Paul in 1975 was diagnosed with leukemia. And life, I think, a lot of people changed then. The struggle of Carol and David and that entire family to deal with Paul's illness, it was unimaginable, number one, that would happen to us. That didn't happen to people that we knew. Carol, who would and could do anything to help anyone else, couldn't do what she wanted to do for Paul. But they went in, at the time it was Division 28. I remember that so well, and that's where cancer patients were treated at Children's Hospital. Carol got to know Division 28 very well. Beyond just caring for Paul, in taking care of all these other 8 kids who somehow, as kids will do, felt some responsibility for his getting ill. She sought help. She saw that these kids sat down with doctors and realized nothing anybody did made this happen. Laurie alluded earlier to young women giving up their voice, and it happens all the time. You got a little wild 6-year-old, by the time she's 16, she's maybe just wanting to please people. Well, Carol has said to me many times over the years, it was through Paul that I found my voice, and she did. She started volunteering at, well, it wasn't the Ronald McDonald House then, because there wasn't a Ronald McDonald House then, but she and David, along with some other people whose children had been treated at Children's and Sidney Farber and eventually Dana-Farber, came together and started the Ronald McDonald House, which is in Brookline. To this day, she goes in there like one weekend a month and to give the staff their help. This is a home away from home for people who come from all over the world, not just locally. So when she says to me, what have I ever done from Brockton? I thought to myself, she's met people from India, from Greece, from all over the world and all over this country who go, stay at the Ronald McDonald House, seek treatment for their seriously ill children at Dana-Farber, meet this remarkable woman who has no idea, truly what she's done. And she says, I'm from Brockton. People take that. People take that back with them to their communities, and beyond remembering Carol, let's hope that they remember that you come from Brockton, Mass. Paul died in 1976. And Carol continued to volunteer and eventually took a job at the hematology lab. I remember one time saying to her, you know, don't give it away. You've learned so much through this. It's time to see if you can get a little job in there. And sure enough, she did. Still didn't drive. I'm sure she never missed a day at work. She got to work in Boston and retired only because her husband David was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she needed to be home. David passed away in 2007, a year and a half ago in July, surrounded by all of his kids and his grandkids. And this is just a family whose devotion, not only to one another, which is profound enough. This woman, every Sunday, cooks for, are you ready? 8 children and their spouses, just celebrating the birth of her 27th grandchild. Her one great-grandchild, Andrew Paul, and any friends who care to stop in. So we grew up in a different city, Carol and I did, and anybody who grew up in Brockton and graduated in 1957, right, Carolyn? Let's see, I don't want to forget anything crucial here. Was her son Christopher, I guess you know, she knows, Chris, that it was you who sent the letter that you came in ranting and raving about. And part of the other thing, 2 things I want people to know. You can go on to the Ronald McDonald House website. It says Ronald McDonald House Boston, and you'll see Spotlight. And I can't bring myself to read the story because I wouldn't get through it. And Carol tells her story of the struggle with Paul. So anybody who wants to just go onto your search engine and pull it up. It's an incredible story to read. Remember, there's 8 or 9 kids, and they all got in one car. No seatbelts. You know, I mean, today you'd be arrested for such a thing. We talk about this all the time, and we think, oh my God, you know, we never had a cell phone, but I'm going to tell you. By the time I got home from church, my mother had heard from my neighbor that Patty was giggling and fooling around in Mass. So we didn't need cell phones to keep track of one another. We went to St. Margaret's Church, received from our baptism right through to marriage. All baptism, confirmation, penance, first communion, everything in that one church. It was a different city, it was a different time, it was a different life, and it was wonderful. Carol and I talk all the time, don't you feel kind of bad for our kids? I mean, when you think of all the things they have, there's a lot that because of the way the world is going that they don't have. And she has done all that she can to provide the stability and security to a big family. She also, beyond being founding members of the Ronald McDonald House, which is a tremendous thing when you think about it. People come from all over the world to stay at that house while their kids are receiving treatment. She was a past member of the Brockton Football Boosters, still to this day attends about every home football game, and most every other event. She just had a couple of her grandkids indoctrinated into the National Honor Society, I believe, at Brockton High. Of course, she was there for that. She's there for everything. And I think for all of that, I'm getting a little redundant now, and I don't want to forget, because, you know, she's done so, that was it, too. That was it. Robert Kraft and the New England Patriots honored Carol gave her the Community Quarterback Award, which is given to people in New England. Brockton is part of New England, Carol, for their extraordinary volunteerism. And she got that award a couple of years ago from the Patriots. So it is with great honor and pride and love that I introduce my friend, Carol Hancock.